Going into the Austrian Grand Prix, every team on the grid was skeptical of Red Bull's new car upgrades, and many of them, like McLaren and Ferrari, have also directly challenged Red Bull's designs and their engine power output to the FIA officially. Although we haven't seen any news update on the issue, we might get to see something very interesting, like a couple of race bans for Red Bull, which might cause huge problems for Max to keep P1 in the Drivers' Championship, as Lando Norris is just 81 points, which can be easily covered if Max didn't take part in more than 3 races. Moreover, as a result of this presumably race ban, Red Bull might miss out on the Constructors' Championship. So what exactly was these Red Bull designs and engine integrity which made every team on the paddock nervous and concerned for their teams? Well, moving on to the Red Bull upgrades. Now, if you might observe some of the top F1 cars of Red Bull, Ferrari and McLaren, they all do kind of look the same, just by looking at them side by side. Like, you wouldn't be able to tell which car belongs to which team if I removed all the paint from them. And as a result, Red Bull started to explore out other ways to maximize their car's potential, and they decided to tamper the limits of the engine cooling aspect of the car, which, if I may remind you, can't exactly see what teams have added inside their engine cover to direct the wind most efficiently throughout the engine and maintain the overall aerodynamic structure. And working over this conclusion, Red Bull have come up with these 4 new shoulder cooling inlets, which were absent in Spain, but with them added, this provides an extra layer of engine cooling to the car, making it more stable while still holding the most aerodynamic shape. Moving on to the side of the car, originally in Spain, Red Bull had 2 inlets each side. One was an upper small and narrow inlet, and other lower huge inlet. Moving into Austria, Red Bull has reduced the size of the upper smaller inlet, even less of what was in the Spanish Grand Prix, which might provide them with a more controlled shape of the air entering the engine. Copying Red Bull, Ferraris and Alpines has also adopted this 2 inlet design on their cars, but they're not able to extract the most out of it like Red Bull. Moving on to the rear bodywork, if you notice, the back engine cover shape from Spain and Austria is very significantly different. It's now much more like a curved path which is designed to meet at the center of the rear wing. Now, you may ask why Red Bull implemented a design which might cause even more force on the rear wing, as now all of the wind will be more concentrated rather than equally distributed. Actually, this is a genius idea. If look closely, the design of the rear side pods is like a curved path for the air from surrounding, and the air coming out of the engine cooling outlet will merge and pass through a unique V-shaped design in the rear wing. As a result, you know that previously equally distributed pressure on the rear wing from the air back in Spain is now reduced like half of it due to the car designs like an air collector and throwing it out of the car with minimal resistance. Moving on, the engine cooling outlets. Red Bull have 2 huge outlets on the top back of the car, which are responsible for extracting most of the hot air from the engine, as the shape of the engine outlets is specifically made to use them as a huge drag, reducing element by extracting the air from engine outwards at a certain angle to eliminate the air traveling on top of the car. But the other 2 engine outlets are the area where Red Bull might be breaking rules. See, if you look at the side of the car, there is a horizontal air outlet on the engine cover on both sides, which might look like another normal sets of outlets, but the twist is that Red Bull has made the outlets customizable. Like, they have created different filters for these outlets to allow them to control the extracting air's flow and sense of direction, which might be depend for each track. But this little twist in the filters is so helpful for Red Bull, as they don't have to add another huge upgrade to the car to satisfy each track's needs. Instead, they can just screw in a particular filter to make the airflow suitable for the racetrack. Now, these exact inventions might be out of the regulations, but still no action has been taken against them. Continuing our talk on the rear body, a few races back, if you at the Red Bull's rear wing and rear body's interception, it's rather a sharp interaction, a very sudden sharp turn. But if you look at this same interaction in the Austrian GP, it's changed now. It is rather smooth and very well aerodynamically aligned with their design, which is definitely pushing their car even more than ever. Now let's talk about the tires. Have you noticed these strange vents or swoops on each tire of the Red Bull's car, where the front tires have a smaller vent, whereas back tires have this huge vent adjacent to them? Well, actually, these are improved or new air inlet to make the air passing through suspensions even more aerodynamic with the car. With these new type vents, you might say, Red Bull are now able to control their car much more easily with minimum aerodynamic change to the suspensions. I think I've got it now. These little vents alongside the suspensions might be the exact reason that Red Bull are able to create a car so dominant with unimaginable downforce to balance out their fast Honda engine, revealing one of the most crucial designs for Red Bull, which is helping them to dominate Formula 1, might be their unique front nose. No team other than Red Bull uses this nose design, as if you look at Mercedes, Ferrari, McLaren and other teams' car, you'll be able to see one small hole at the end of the nose. But with Red Bull, they have experimented with 3-hole nose design, where like everyone, they have a singular hole at the lower end of the nose, but they have added 2 extra air inlets at the top of the nose as well, which not only provide more than one entrance for the air to enter the car's main frame and travel through it effortlessly, but also provide the extra added cooling opportunities bot drivers and engine, increasing the efficiency of the both simultaneously. A bonus invention I would like to add is Ferrari's very unusual air outlets on the top of the car. If you haven't noticed them yet, I'll show you. Here look, Ferrari has increased their air outlets number from 3 to 5 as we move to Austria from Spain. Seriously looking at the upgrade, I do believe these increased number of outlets might help Ferrari to better manage their airflow out of the engine and air surrounding the outer bodywork to pass through the car effortlessly, reducing the drag on the rear suspension minimal. And I think these exact upgrades were crucial in Sainz's podium last weekend. Honestly speaking, Ferrari are really working hard to bring in good upgrades to their cars, unlike a few years back when they were just throwing, but I do believe they can have a good future in the sport. Anyway, if you like these types of videos, please like, share and subscribe.